Hello, my dear friend. Welcome to VUS Learning English Podcast. My name is Anna, and I am so happy you are here today. If this is your first time listening, a very warm welcome to you. If you are a returning listener, thank you for coming back. It is wonderful to be with you again. Today, we have a very special topic. It is a topic that can change your life. We are going to talk about a big feeling, a hot feeling, the feeling of anger. We will learn how to understand this feeling, and we will learn how to find peace. We will learn how to never get angry again. This is a journey to a calm and strong mind. I am so glad we can take this journey together. Thank you so much for listening today. Your time is a gift, and I am grateful for it. If you enjoy our time together, please think about following or subscribing. It helps our community grow. It helps more English learners like you find us. And I would love to know where you are listening from. Are you in Somalia? India? Malaysia? Canada? Please tell me in the comments. I love reading about all the different places you are. It makes me feel connected to you. Okay, are you ready? Let's begin. There is a feeling that lives inside you. It lives inside all of us. Don't worry. This feeling is not a monster with horns. It does not breathe fire. This feeling is very, very common, but it can be very, very powerful. This feeling is anger. It is that hot feeling in your stomach. It starts to bubble up. It is that tight feeling in your chest. It happens when someone is not nice to you. It is that flash of heat you feel. Maybe you are driving your car. Another car cuts in front of you. Your hands hold the steering wheel very tight. That feeling is anger. Maybe you have an argument with someone. Later, you are alone. In your head, you think about the argument again and again and again. You think of all the things you wanted to say. That feeling is anger. It is a bitter feeling. You might think this anger is your power. You might think it is a fire that makes you strong. You might think it makes people listen to you. You might think it makes you a person to be respected. But I want to tell you a secret. You are wrong. This is not true. This feeling of anger does not make you strong. It actually makes you weak. It makes you do what other people expect. Imagine you are a puppet and your anger is the string. When someone insults you, they pull the string. When things do not happen the way you want, they pull the string. When life is not fair, they pull the string. And what do? You dance. You react. You do exactly what they expect you to do. The anger feels like a voice in your ear. It whispers to you. It says, you are right to be angry. It says, show them your strength. But this is not strength. It is a sign that you are not in control. When you are angry, you are not in control. Your anger is in control. And other people can see this. They can see your strings, and anyone can pull them. This is not a new problem. This is a very old problem. It is a war inside every human. The secret to winning this war was discovered a long time ago. It was discovered many, many centuries ago. It was discovered in a place called feudal Japan. This is the story of a samurai. He was maybe the greatest samurai in all of history. He fought in more than 60 duels and he never lost, not even one time. This great samurai learned something important. He learned his biggest enemy was not another fighter with a sword. His biggest enemy was the angry feeling inside his own heart. This is the story of how he fought this feeling. This is the story of how he won. And this is the story of how he became truly unbreakable. Someone who could not be broken. Before we can find the solution, we must understand the problem. Your anger, this feeling inside, is like a puppet master. It holds the strings. It makes you believe that its angry voice is your own voice. It makes you believe that its hot rage is your personal strength. But let's look closer. Let's think about it together. Think about the moments when this anger takes control. Maybe you are at work. You work very hard on a project. A person you work with takes the credit. They say they did the work. A feeling of heat goes to your face. You feel your cheeks get warm. That is the anger. Maybe someone you love says something. They do not think before they speak. Their words hurt you. For the rest of the day, you feel sad and angry. It feels like a gray fog is around you. That is the anger. Maybe you have a wonderful plan for your day, but everything goes wrong. Your plans fall apart, and you get angry. You don't get angry at the situation. You get angry at the person who is near you. That is the anger. In those moments, you are not thinking clearly. You are not a leader of your own life. You are a puppet. Your emotional triggers are the strings. Triggers are the things that make you feel angry. A trigger can be a word. A trigger can be an action. The world is full of people. And these people, sometimes on purpose, sometimes by accident, pull your strings. A person who can make you angry becomes your master. Think about that. This is very important. If someone can make you angry, they have power over you. They can control your mood. They can control what you think about. They can control what you do, all with just one word or one action. They do not need to be smarter than you. They do not need to be stronger than you. They only need to make you angry. And then you will defeat yourself. You will make mistakes. You will say things you do not mean. You will do things you will regret. This angry feeling loves your ego. Your ego is the part of you that feels important. It is the part of you that feels you deserve certain things. You get angry because deep down you believe something. You believe you deserve respect. You believe life should be fair. You believe your life should follow your plan. You believe the world should give you what you want. But reality is different. Life is not always fair. People are not always respectful. Your plans do not always work. And when reality is different from your belief, the anger roars. It shouts. It tells you that you have been treated badly. It tells you this is wrong. It tells you this injustice must be met with anger, and you listen. You obey. When you are angry, you do not think smart. Your good ideas disappear. You become a storm of emotion, a storm that everyone can see coming, a storm that is easy to predict. Think about all the energy you lose. Think about the hours you spend thinking about an insult. You play it again and again in your mind. Think about the friendships and relationships that are hurt. You say words in anger. and you cannot take them back. Think about the good things you miss. You miss opportunities because your mind is cloudy. It is full of anger. You cannot see the clear path forward. This is not power. This is a cage. And your anger has made you believe the cage is your castle. It has made you believe the bars are your strength. The first step to freedom is to see the cage. It is to see the face of the person who keeps you in jail. That face is your own face. It is the face you see in the mirror during a moment of anger. This is a lesson a young man had to learn. He learned it through difficult and dangerous times. This young man became a legend. His name is a word for victory, but his biggest victory was not against another person. It was the victory he won over himself. His name was Miyamoto Musashi. To understand Miyamoto Musashi, we must understand his world. He was born in the year 1584. Japan had a long civil war for 100 years. When Musashi was born, the war was ending. It was a very bloody and violent time. Life was not seen as precious. Skill with a sword was the most important thing. Power was not given to you. Power was something you took. Friendships were not always strong. People often betrayed each other. To survive, you needed to be smart, and you needed to be a good fighter. From a young age, Musashi was special. He was like a force of nature. He was wild. He was fierce. And he was very, very talented with a sword. He was a ronin. A ronin is a samurai without a master. He walked his own path. He traveled all over Japan. He was on a warrior's journey. He was not looking for money. He was not looking for fame. He was looking for perfection. He wanted to be the perfect swordsman. How did he do this? He challenged the most famous fighters in every town he visited, and he left a long line of defeated masters behind him. His story began when he was very young. As a teenager, he went to a city called Kyoto. He made a public challenge. He challenged a famous sword fighting school. The school was called the Yoshioka School. It was one of the best schools in the country. The head of the school accepted the challenge. His name was Arima Kihei. On the day of the fight, Kihei arrived. He wore beautiful formal clothes. He carried a magnificent sword, a katana. Musashi, however, did something different. He arrived late. This became a habit for him. It was a way to play with his opponent's mind. Musashi did not look neat. He looked messy, almost wild. And he was not carrying a steel sword. He was carrying a simple wooden sword, a sword used for practice. It was called a bakken. Kihei was angry. His students were angry. This was a big sign of disrespect. To fight a master with a wooden practice sword was a huge insult. Kihei's pride was hurt. His anger was growing. He looked at Musashi and thought it would be an easy fight. He thought he would kill this disrespectful young man. He charged. He attacked. What happened next is the story of Musashi's life. He was completely calm. He was peaceful. He did not react to the insults. He did not react to the anger. He did not flinch or move back from the real sharp sword. As Kihei attacked, Musashi moved. His movement was brutal. It was efficient. There was no emotion. He blocked the steel sword with his wooden sword, and in a single fast motion, he hit Kihei on the head. He killed the master with one single strike. This victory showed his amazing talent. He was like a lion. He was stronger and better than other fighters. But as he continued to fight and win and fight and win, he noticed something. He saw a dangerous pattern in himself. His power came from a wild energy. It was a storm of aggression. He would unleash this storm on his opponents. He was winning. Yes, but he was a slave to this storm inside him. The storm was in control. He was a great fighter, but he was not a true master yet. This was his biggest weakness. He saw how easy it was to make other people angry. He saw how their anger made them make deadly mistakes. And he saw that same weakness in himself. Everyone knew his name. Everyone knew he was undefeated. But inside, he knew the truth. He knew he was living on the edge. One day, someone could use his anger against him. One smart insult, one clever provocation, and his own anger could be the reason for his defeat. His own anger could be his end. The most dangerous swordsman in Japan was starting to understand. He was starting to realize that the most dangerous enemy he would ever face was not a man with a sword. It was the angry feeling, the demon inside his own heart. The life of a traveling ronin, a samurai with no master, is a lonely life. For Musashi, this lonely time became his school. It became his training hall. After his first big victories, he did not start a school. He did not try to become more famous. Instead, he went away. He went into the wilderness. He went into the forests and the mountains. He chose a life that was very, very hard. He slept outside. He ate only what he needed to live. He said no to all comfort. This was not a punishment. He was not punishing himself. It was a plan. It was a strategy. He was removing everything from the outside. He removed comfort. He removed praise from other people. He removed his social position. He did this to find what was at the center of himself. He wanted to find his true core. Think about it. If a man chooses to sleep in the dirt, what is an insult to him? It is nothing. If a man chooses to live a hard life every day, what is a threat to him? It is nothing. He was killing his ego. He was doing it slowly, piece by piece. Musashi understood a deep truth. The ego is the start of anger. Anger happens when our pride is hurt. Anger happens when our plans do not work. By detaching himself, by separating himself from the need for respect, from the need to be praised. He was cutting his own puppet strings, one by one. During this time, he meditated. He sat in silence. But he did not meditate for peace. He did not meditate to feel relaxed. He meditated as a kind of training for his mind. It was mental combat. He meditated on his own death. He would imagine his own body, after death, returning to the earth. This idea is scary for most people. But for him, it was freeing. It made him feel free. This practice changes your view of life. It makes all the small problems of life seem very, very small. When you think about death, the sting of an insult is not so painful. The anger from a small problem feels silly. This practice allowed him to do something special. He said, "Think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world." His own ego, his own self-importance became a small thing. But his understanding of the world, of strategy, of fighting became huge. It was in this time that he discovered the center of his new way of thinking. He called it Mushin. In English, this means no mind. This does not mean an empty mind. It does not mean you have no thoughts. It means you reach a state where your thoughts and feelings pass through you. They come and they go, but they do not stick to you. They do not stay. Imagine this with me. Imagine your mind is the big, wide, blue sky. Your emotions are the clouds. Sometimes there are happy, white, fluffy clouds. Sometimes there are gray, sad clouds. And sometimes there are dark, stormy, angry clouds. You can see the clouds. You can acknowledge them. You can say, there is a feeling of anger. Or, I see a feeling of fear. But you do not become the cloud. You are not the anger. You are not the fear. You remain the sky, big, calm, and unchanged. This was the great change in his life. Musashi realized the goal was not to push anger down. Pushing anger down only makes it stronger later. The goal was also not to let the anger run free, that is weak and destructive. The secret was to create a space, a small space of time, a pause. This space is between the trigger, the thing that happens, and your response. The trigger could be an insult. It could be a problem. In that space, you have power. He learned the difference between two sentences. Sentence 1, I am angry. Sentence 2, I feel the sensation of anger. Do you see the difference? It is very important. When you say, I am angry, you become the anger. It is your identity. When you say, I feel the sensation of anger, you're watching it. You are the observer. You are the sky watching the cloud. In that small space, that small mental distance, you find your freedom. You find your power. You are no longer a puppet. You have the freedom to choose your action. He was creating an immovable mind. In Japanese, this is Fudoshin. This mind is not hard and stiff. It is fluid and flexible like water. A mind that cannot be made angry. A mind that cannot be broken. He was learning to kill the demon of anger. But he did not fight it with more anger. He killed it by taking away its food. And the only food anger needs to live is your reaction. Musashi created a set of rules. They were like fighting techniques for the mind. These rules allowed him to take apart his own anger. These are not old, dusty ideas from history. They are a timeless guide for winning the war inside you. Let's learn these rules together. Let's forge our own unbreakable minds. The first principle is the sacred pause. Master the 90-second rule. Musashi knew that anger is a physical thing. It happens in your body. Before the anger makes your mind cloudy, your body gives you signals. It sends you warnings. Your heart starts to beat faster. Your muscles get tight. Your breathing changes. Modern science today agrees with this. Scientists have studied this. When something happens that makes you angry, a trigger, your brain sounds an alarm. A part of your brain called the amygdala sends stress chemicals all through your body. It is a chemical reaction. This rush of chemicals, this raw feeling, has a life. If you do not feed it with more angry thoughts, it only lasts for about 90 seconds. That window of 90 seconds is the battlefield. It is where the fight happens. Most people lose this battle immediately. The trigger happens and they react. They feed the emotional fire with more thoughts. How dare they say that? This is not fair. And this restarts the 90-second cycle. It can continue for hours or days. Musashi's first rule is to become the master of this short time. When you feel the first physical sign of anger, you pause. You create a sacred interval, a holy space. You stop. You do not speak. You do not act. You bring all of your attention to the feelings in your body. What do you feel? You just observe. You watch. You can say to yourself in your mind, I notice my heart is beating faster. I notice my jaw feels tight. I am observing the feeling of anger in my body. When you name the feeling instead of becoming the feeling, something magical happens. You turn on the thinking part of your brain, the rational part, and you start to calm the emotional part. And then you breathe, but you breathe in a special way. It is a tactical breath, a strategic breath. It is very simple. You breathe in slowly for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You hold your breath for a count of 2. 1, 2, and you breathe out slowly for a count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That long exhale, that long breath out sends a message to your body. It tells your nervous system to calm down. It says, everything is okay, relax. This is not pushing the anger down. This is not suppression. This is interception. You are meeting the wave of emotion. You are letting it wash over you, but you are not giving it more energy. You are not feeding it with angry thoughts. In the space you create with your pause and your breath, you get your power back. You can choose again. Do I need to respond to this situation? If yes, how should I respond? Should I respond with clear, calm strategy or with blind, hot rage? The puppet master pulls the string. But with the sacred pause, you refuse to dance. You stand still. You breathe. You choose. The second principle is the death of entitlement. Starve the ego. The feeling of anger needs food to live. Its main food is your ego. It is your feeling of what you think you deserve. We can call this entitlement. You get angry because you believe life should be a certain way. You think, life should be fair. You think, people should be respectful to me. You think, my plans should work out. When life is not fair or people are not respectful, your ego feels hurt. It feels attacked. And it screams. That scream is your anger. To kill the anger, you must stop feeding the ego. You must starve it. How did Musashi do this? He used voluntary hardship. This means he chose to do hard things. He deliberately made his life uncomfortable. This built his tolerance. It made him mentally strong against discomfort. This practice destroyed his need for comfort. When you are used to real hardship, small problems have no power over you. if you have willingly slept on the cold ground in a forest, then a delayed airplane or a rude person in a shop seems very small. It is almost funny. You can use this idea in your life today. You do not need to go and sleep in the woods. You can start small, very small. Take a cold shower. Maybe just for 30 seconds at the end of your normal shower. The water is cold. It is not comfortable, but you can do it. You are okay. Skip a meal just once. If you are healthy and able, you can try fasting for a short time. You will feel hungry. It is not comfortable, but you are okay. Turn off your social media for a full day or a full week. You will feel the urge to check it. It is not comfortable, but you are okay. In small ways, choose the harder path sometimes. This is not to punish yourself. It is to build your discomfort tolerance. You are training your mind. You are teaching it that the world is not made to keep you comfortable all the time. You are breaking the addiction to ease. This addiction makes us mentally fragile. It makes us weak. Voluntary hardship makes us mentally strong. You also need to become a detective of your own thoughts. When you feel anger starting to rise, ask yourself a question. What story am I telling myself right now? For example, a person cuts you off in traffic. The story you tell yourself is, that person disrespected me. They think they are more important than me. This story creates anger. Now ask another question. Is this story 100% true? Can you be absolutely sure it is true? The answer is no. You cannot. Then ask a final question. Is there another way to see this? Is there another story? Maybe the person who cut you off in traffic is rushing to the hospital. Maybe their child is sick. Maybe they made a simple mistake. It was not about you at all. Maybe the person at work who criticized your idea is just very insecure. Maybe they are afraid of their own job. It was not a personal attack. When you question your first angry story, you take away the anger's reason to exist. You rob the demon of its justification. You kill the anger by killing the story of entitlement that created it. The third principle is the void mind. Embrace imperfection. The highest level that Musashi wanted to reach was Mushin, the void mind or no mind. This is his most famous idea, and it is often misunderstood. It does not mean your head is empty of all thoughts. That is impossible. It means your mind is empty of fixation. It means your mind does not hold on to things. It does not cling to thoughts. It does not cling to emotions. It does not cling to plans or expectations. It is a state of pure being, pure presence. In this state, you can respond to life as it is right now, not as you wish it was. One way to practice this is mindfulness. The goal of mindfulness is not to stop your thoughts. The goal is to watch them without judging them, to watch them like clouds in the sky. You can practice this right now. Sit in a comfortable position. Close your eyes if you want. Focus on your breath, the feeling of the air coming in, and the feeling of the air going out. Soon, a thought will appear. Maybe it is about your dinner. Maybe it is about your work. When the thought comes, you simply notice it. In your mind, you can label it thinking. And then you gently, kindly bring your focus back to your breath. You will do this again and again. A thought comes. You notice. You return to the breath. Every time you do this, you are training your mind. You are weakening the habit of being controlled by your thoughts. And you are strengthening the muscle of calm observation. You are strengthening the sky, not the clouds. Another part of this is to embrace a beautiful Japanese idea. The idea is called Wabi-Sabi. Wabi-Sabi is the idea of finding beauty in things that are not perfect. Beauty in things that are imperfect, impermanent, and incomplete. So much of our anger comes from perfectionism. We want everything to be perfect. We have a perfect plan for our day. We have a perfect idea for our career. We have a perfect picture of our life. When the real, messy world does not match our perfect picture, we get angry. We explode. Wabi-Sabi teaches the opposite. It finds beauty in the cracks. It finds beauty in the flaws. It finds beauty in the fact that nothing lasts forever. To practice this is to accept a deep truth. Nothing will ever be perfect. Your plans will fail sometimes. People will disappoint you sometimes. You will make mistakes sometimes. This is not a sad idea. It is a liberating idea. It sets you free. When you stop demanding perfection from the world, and when you stop demanding perfection from yourself, you remove a huge source of anger and frustration from your life. You learn to work with reality, not rage against it. A mind like this is like a polished mirror. It is perfectly clear and smooth. It reflects whatever comes in front of it. It reflects an insult. It reflects a failure. It reflects a problem. It shows the image perfectly without changing it. And then, when the thing is gone, the image is gone. The mirror does not hold on to the image. Your mind stays clear. Your mind stays calm. It is empty of fixation. And in that special emptiness, it is invincible. It cannot be defeated. The biggest test of Musashi's new mind came in the year 1612. It was a duel that made him a true legend. His opponent was a man named Sasaki Kojiro. Kojiro was a warrior who was just as famous and feared as Musashi. Kojiro was the opposite of Musashi. Musashi was wild and rough. Kojiro was elegant and refined. He was called the demon of the Western provinces. He was famous for his special sword technique. It was called the turning swallow cut. People said the strike was so fast it was impossible to block. Kojiro used a very long and perfectly made sword. He was the picture of perfect technique and great pride. The duel was set. It would happen on a small, remote island. The island was called Ganryu Island. This was it. The final exam for Musashi's mind. On the morning of the duel, Kojiro arrived on time. The officials for the duel also arrived on time. They waited, and they waited, and they waited. Hours passed. The sun moved across the sky. Musashi was not there. Kojiro, a man with huge pride, walked on the beach. He was feeling excited at first. Then he became annoyed. Then his annoyance turned into anger. His anger turned into rage. Musashi was already fighting the duel. He was dismantling his opponent's mind before he even arrived. This was pure psychological strategy. Finally, a small boat appeared on the water. As the boat came closer, Kojiro's anger grew even more. Musashi looked like he had just woken up. His hair was messy. His clothes were simple. When he got out of the boat, the officials were shocked. Musashi was not carrying his two famous swords. In his hand, he was holding a piece of wood. It was a crude, oversized wooden sword. He had carved it himself. He made it from a spare oar from the boat on the way to the island. This was the final insult. This was the ultimate act of disrespect. To face the great Sasaki Kojiro, master of the swallow cut, with a rough piece of wood, it was an act of supreme contempt. In that exact moment, Kojiro lost the duel. He just did not know it yet. He was blind with rage. He pulled his beautiful long sword from its scabbard, and in an angry move, he threw the scabbard into the ocean. A scabbard is the cover for a sword. Musashi saw this, and he spoke calmly. He said, "You have no more use for that. You're already dead." That one sentence was the spark. Kojiro's mind was now completely gone. It was totally consumed by the demon of his own anger. He forgot all his strategy. He forgot his patience. He forgot everything. He was driven by only one thing: the need to destroy the man who disrespected him. He charged. He unleashed his famous swallow cut. It was as fast as lightning. It was a brilliant move. It sliced through the air, and it just cut the small knot of Musashi's headband. But Musashi was already moving. He was in the state of Mushin, the void mind, the calm sky. He saw Kojiro's anger. He saw the predictable attack that came from that anger. And he saw the small opening the attack created. As Kojiro's fast attack left him a little off balance, Musashi acted. He brought his heavy wooden oar down in one single, powerful, decisive blow. He struck Kojiro on the head. The demon of the western provinces fell to the sand. He was dead. He was not defeated by a better sword. He was not defeated by a better technique. He was defeated by his own uncontrollable anger. Musashi had won. He won because his mind was superior. He won because he stayed calm while his opponent raged. He proved that a mind free from the demon of anger is the most powerful weapon in the world. He had become unbreakable. The story of Miyamoto Musashi is not just a history lesson. It is a timeless story. It is a parable about the war that happens inside every one of us. The angry feeling he faced is the same one that lives in you. It is the anger that makes you feel weak. It is the rage that makes you predictable. It is the ego that keeps you locked in a cage. His journey teaches us a powerful lesson. True strength is not found in the heat of your anger. It is found in the depth of your calm. True strength is not about how hard you can fight. It is about how impossible you are to provoke. An unbreakable mind is not a mind that feels nothing. It is a mind that is not controlled by what it feels. It is the sky, not the cloud. The path to slaying this inner demon, to finding this calm strength, is not easy. It takes practice. It takes daily practice. It begins with the sacred pause. It begins with mastering that 90-second window before your anger takes control of you. It continues with the death of entitlement. It continues by starving your ego through small, voluntary hardships. And it leads to the pursuit of the void mind. It leads to embracing life's beautiful imperfections. And it leads to practicing a calm, detached awareness. Your duels, your fights, may not be with swords on an island. Your duels happen in meeting rooms at work. They happen in difficult conversations with people you love. They happen in the quiet battles inside your own mind. Every time you choose to pause instead of react, you strike a blow against your inner anger. You win a small victory. Every time you choose to observe your anger instead of becoming your anger, you cut one of its puppet strings. You have the map now. You know the path. The choice to take the first step is yours, and only yours. If you are ready to start building your own unbreakable mind, you can start today, right now. Choose one small comfort to give up this week. Just one small act of voluntary hardship. Maybe you will choose to end your shower with 30 seconds of cold water. Maybe you will choose to skip one dessert you usually eat. Maybe you will choose to not look at your phone for the first hour of the day. It can be very small, but it is a start. If you feel comfortable, you can share what you are choosing in the comments below. Let this be your first step on the path, your first act of training. Let's encourage each other. This journey of learning to be calm and strong takes time. It is a practice for a lifetime. Be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Every small step is progress. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I hope this story has inspired you. I hope it has given you hope and tools to build a more peaceful life. If you found this helpful, please give it a like or follow our podcast. It is a simple way to support our community, and it helps this message of peace and strength reach more people around the world. Remember to keep practicing your English, and remember to be kind to your mind. See you next time, my friend.